Jet fans, time for the first premiere of Coffee with Frankie. The coffee we have, fuck the refs. That's what coffee we have. But we're doing a premiere instead of a live stream this Sunday, this time, because of Thanksgiving obligations, you might say. Things going on. Can't do the live stream on Sunday, so we're recording this on Saturday night, releasing it as a premiere on Sunday, and hopefully we'll get back to the live stream perhaps after the holidays. We'll see how it goes. All right, as far as the Jets are concerned, let's go through the news. Ding. 1. Roster moves. So we activated Marcelino McCrary-Ball, linebacker, off of the injured reserve list. No word yet about Irv the Wolf Charles. Wonder what's going on with Mr. Charles. But McCrary-Ball's been activated, and we waived Jamarcus Weston. Now, hopefully Jamarcus Weston clears waivers, and we put him back on the P squad so we can maintain him. He's been a useful special teams player, has not seen much action on the defense. Now, but McCrary-Ball is an interesting guy. He's very good on special teams, so we know that. But can he carve out a role as a linebacker 3 on this team? That's what you really want to see. Because if he can make an impact there, he can stick around next year and have more of a role on the defense. So keep an eye on him tomorrow. Can somebody like a Kobe King break into the defense, or is he just going to play special teams all the time? These are certain things you got to keep in mind when we're in evaluation season for, from now until the end of the year. We will be in evaluation season. Now, in other news, you saw a post by Breece Hall calling Brian Costello pathetic. Why was he calling Brian Costello, the New York Post journalist, pathetic? Well, he tried to chase down Justin Fields and get comment from him. And this was seen by players, including Breece Hall, as a pathetic attempt at, getting juicy, spicy information out of Justin Fields. I then went on X and called for the revocation of Mr. Costello's press pass due to this obvious breach of journalistic ethics. No word on if anybody's going to pay attention. I did lodge that. I did say, at Woody Johnson, I'm calling on you on behalf of all Jet fans to revoke the press pass of Mr. Costello. What does he really add to the game anyways? The other thing is that like these journalists shouldn't be in the locker room at all. We have had many journalistic ethics violations, including in locker rooms. There's zero reason as to why journalists are allowed in locker rooms. You've already heard about the 49er players, a number of them complaining about Grant Cohn in particular, calling him a creepy weirdo for looking at them while they're naked in the locker room. Like, these journalists, how many other people are creepy weirdos other than, we know Grant Cohn is, but other than him, I mean, who else is? And of course, nothing happened to Grant Cohn. He got called a creepy weirdo, and then nothing happened. He's still the editor of the SI website and still has a press pass and is still allowed to mingle into the locker room when the guys are changing. It doesn't make any sense. The press can get all their information from outside the locker room interviews. There's zero reason why they're allowed in there, and the Players Association needs to address that in the next contract. I mean, you've had plenty of other journalistic ethics violations as well. You had a Clarissa Thompson who is on Thursday Night Football and is on all these commercials. She came out and said, oh, yeah, I lied. I lied about all these quotes that I said people said. They didn't say those things. Like the number one violation of journalism. Like attributing a quote to someone when they didn't say that. Oh, yeah, I did that multiple times. Oh, yeah. She admitted it. I guess that's something. But then all the cucks and the and the simps came out and said, oh, that's not so great to do that. But you know what? Clarissa Thompson's a wonderful person. She's just wonderful. We shouldn't punish her for breaking the number one rule of journalism. Then you had Joy Taylor Somebody filed a lawsuit against Fox News, and all this stuff came out about Joy Taylor essentially sleeping her way to the top, this person said, allegedly. And then, the internet sleuths came out and found Emmanuel Acho being in basically Joy Taylor's garage in his car and basically praising her just out of nowhere. And it's like, oh, and in the lawsuit, it says she was sleeping with Emmanuel Acho. Now, we don't know if that's true. It's just in the lawsuit. The person had a lot of evidence, but we don't know if it's true. Maybe she's just a lovely church-going lady. But then you had things like Country Club Connor. This is documented by me, by Frankie, slandering some of our players, Denzel Mims and Mekhi Becton. Never got in trouble. Then you have somebody like a Zach Rosenblather, who works for the New York Times. He comes out with an article along with Dirty Diana Rossini that says 30, we got 30 sources on this story. Yeah, they're all disgruntled. They all got fired by the Jets. And you're using that as a way to write a report? You interviewed a bunch of people who got fired and asked them what they think about the Jets? And then you have people like Dirty Diana Rossini, of course, Gossip Girl herself, just went on and on and on all summer about how badly the Vikings really want Aaron Rodgers. And of course, the Vikings did not want Aaron Rodgers. That was coming from Rodgers' camp, his agent, feeding her that information. And no matter how many times Kwesi or KOC or anybody from the Vikings came out and said, no, we like JJ. We're going with what we got. We respect Aaron Rodgers. We took a call from him. He called us. But we really just had no interest, unfortunately, and Diana Rossini suffered. The point is, these people never suffer any consequence for getting things wrong. I mean, and violating the most basic journalistic ethic. Lying about what people said is violation number one of journalism. Being a creepy weirdo in the locker room like Grant Cohn was accused of being by the 49ers. It's like, these are very serious allegations, and no one cares. It's amazing to me. I mean, Pablo Torre, for example, when I first saw Pablo Torre, I thought, okay, this guy is some sort of an indie dude coming up. He's finding things out. This is fantastic. And then you find out he's not indie at all. He's funded by the New York Times. He does collaborations with NBC News and Mother Jones and this and that. And somebody called him out for doing a story on Riley Gaines. And the story was all about the fact that Riley Gaines, whatever you think about her, she's making money from giving speeches. That's the thing he accused her of. And this was supposed to be damning. What? She's making money giving speeches? What the hell is it? What is this? Like, in that case, if you do a story on someone and you think you're going to dig up some dirt and you think you're going to dig up something of public interest, and then you come back to your editor and go, well, all we got is that she makes a lot of money giving speeches out. The editor's supposed to kill that. That's not in the public interest. First of all, we already knew that. She goes around. What did we think? She does it for free? She goes around giving speeches. If people want to pay her to listen to what she has to say, that's the American way, buddy. She's allowed to go give speeches wherever she wants to. And then somebody was confronting Mr. Torre, since he did this expose on Riley Gaines, and they were asking, okay, Pablo, do you think men should compete in women's sports? And whatever you think about that, you would think Pablo Torre, if you're going to be Mr. Investigative Reporter, could at least answer that question. And of course, he wouldn't answer the question. So you find out that these people are astroturf. These people are supported by big-time institutions. And it's really disappointing. I mean, somebody like a Brian Costello, for what he did with Justin Fields, take the press pass away, man. Like, he shouldn't have a press pass. Somebody else from the New York Post can come, that's fine, but he needs to lose it. Like, you have to be able to follow the rules of journalism and the rules that the Jets, in this case, set out in the NFL. And, if somebody says, you're not talking to this guy, then you're not talking to him. You don't go stalking him down in his locker when he's about to go get treatment. I mean, it's ridiculous. These people are creepy weirdos. Kyle Juszczyk was right. A lot of these people are creepy weirdos. And I think if you're a creepy weirdo like Brian Costello, Grant Cohn, you should lose your press pass. at the very least. And then next CBA, we got the Players Association. You got to put it in there. No reporters at all in the locker room. The locker room should be a safe space, should be a sacred space, in fact, where the guys can just be the guys and just hang out and not have to worry about creepy weirdos taking a look at their peepees. Now, I mean, there's so much bad journalism going around. I feel like I have to call it all out. I don't know what good it's going to do, but I feel like somebody has to. if we can do it here at FSPN, all right, maybe that's something. But I don't know. I don't know why people are so scared of calling these people out and saying they're doing bad things. It's unbelievable. And I guess it goes back to the old. Now, I'm a big fan of The Wire. You guys probably know that. And there's a reason why David Simon ended that show in the 5th season on the media. People often wonder, why is the world like this? Why is there so much problems in the world? Why are there so much trouble in this world? Well, one of the reasons David Simon posits in The Wire, and I agree, is the media. That's why we focus on the media. The media is a big, big problem. And if nobody else is going to call them out, I guess I will. And just remember, I love my life. I would never kill myself. If you ever hear the news, old Frankie was depressed and took his life. No, love my life. Would never kill myself. Just keep that in mind. So it is dangerous, and I know that. But nonetheless, I mean, somebody's got to say something to these people. I mean, David Simon did 5 whole seasons of perhaps the greatest show of all time to show you that this is America. Like, a lot of people don't understand that first scene in The Wire, the first scene of the whole show. You remember when McNulty is questioning the kid about the kid who stole the dice and then got shot, and he tells him the whole story about how he does this all the time. He would steal money from the craps game and run away, and then they would catch him and beat him up, and and whatever, and but nobody ever would shoot the kid. In this case, he got shot. And McNulty said, well, I don't understand. He goes, well, what don't you understand? He goes, well, all this time, every week he comes and he steals, he plays the game for a while, the pot gets big, and then at some point he steals the pot and runs away. The kid goes, yeah. He goes, well, why do you let him play? And the kid just looks at him and goes, this is America, man. This is America, man. And that is David Simon telling you this, The Wire, is America, man. And he's trying to hold up a mirror. You could say that's a fictional account, Frankie. That's not, that's not really. But he was really holding up a mirror to America, man, and showing you what it is. And he ended it on the media. And nobody cared. Nobody did anything. Nothing changed. I don't know how the heck we can change this thing. But it's a pretty important thing that we have a terrible media. Now, we're using sports media, so it's not as serious as the things they covered in The Wire, of course. But sports media is a part of the media, and if we could maybe try to get some ethics in there a little bit, maybe it could help. I don't know. But anyway, that's in case you're wondering why The Wire is so important. That's why. In case you're wondering what was really going on with The Wire, that's what was really going on. He was trying to show you, okay, look at all these bad things, bad thing, bad thing, bad thing. Look at all this terrible, oh my God, you're going to feel bad for these kids. And what about the drugs? And oh, look at these cops and what's going on. And then the 5th season was the reason why all those things are allowed to happen. The media. The media is supposed to be the societal watchdog. What happens when the watchdog needs to be watched? What happens when you can't even trust the watchdog? You got problems. Anyway, all right. Next news item. Kris Boyd. The Kris Boyd incident, I have not talked about that on this channel yet. Thankfully, it seems like he's okay. And he's going to pull through, so that's a good thing. But what we learned about this incident so far, first of all, it happened at 2 a.m. Second of all, he was with Jamie Sherwood and Irv the Wolf Charles. Now, apparently he just had a kid, Kris Boyd. So part of my advice to young men And I do work at a university, so I talk to young people, occasionally. Uh, um, is once you're at that level, find your girl and get married and start having kids. You know. Now, this guy already had kids, so you shouldn't be out at 2 a.m. Nothing good happens after 12 p.m. That sounds like an old fogey thing to say, but it's absolutely true. And Jamie and Sherwood and Irvin Charles and Kris Boyd, you shouldn't be out at 2 a.m. I'm sorry. First of all, you should be looking for the nice girl to get married with. And then once you get married, then you start having kids. And then your whole life is about your family. And you're not out with the models and the bottles and the this and that and people with guns and getting jealous over your clothing and your, gold chains and this and that. I mean, the thing is that these young men in particular have a lot of money. They have a lot of money. They're wearing fancy clothes, not fancy, but expensive clothing. They said, the cops, somebody put out that the dispute was over clothing and I don't know, something like that. So obviously, if you're a multimillionaire like these guys, you're going to wear nice clothes, expensive clothes. Now, a lot of these clothes I would not wear, but these kids are fashionable in ways. Frankie, I got a hat and I got an Adidas thing. That's all I got. But these guys, they got all kinds of fancy things. And people are going to get jealous when you go out. You're out at night. You're having a nice meal. You're probably having some wine, some expensive wine. You're probably having the filet mignon. You're having the foie gras, And the other people at the other table are having a hamburger and some fries. And you're ordering, gourmet stuff. And they see and they look and they see, and you're wearing a gold chain and gold teeth and gold everything and a $10,000 shirt and a $5,000 pants. And you got on the gator skin shoes, and they're going to be like, fuck these guys. Let's mess with them. And that's what happens. People get jealous. So I would just advise young folks, look, man, it sounds boring. Find your girl to marry her, wife her up, and then as long as everybody's on board with having children, start having the children. Have as many as you want. And then just your whole life is about the kids, and you don't get into this trouble. You don't get into these situations in the first place. All right. So that's what I got to say about that. But thankfully, Kris Boyd seems like he's going to be fine. But let's start. Let's not be out so late in the morning. It's when bad things happen. Who's hanging out at that time? It's not the choir boys, unfortunately. All right, so that's all we got to say on this episode of Coffee with Frankie. We're gonna premiere this one. This is gonna be a premiere. So let me know what you think about the premiere instead of the live stream, and I will see you next time.
Frankie from Flatbush rides the Brooklyn line. Got a swagger sharp like a vintage wine. Everybody knows his name from porch to stoop. Hustling dreams in every loop. In the park he struts, hits the handball wall. Echoes hear the stories when the shadows fall. Got 1,000 tales and a confident grin. On the streets of Flatbush where legends begin. Frankie from Flatbush got the city glow, lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. Bodega lights flicker when Frankie's near. He's got the rhythm, everybody cheers. Corner talks and sidewalk chalks his fame. In the Flatbush breeze you'll hear his name. Underneath the subway on the magic's real. Frankie's moves got that electric feel. From Atlantic Avenue to the urban hill. Flatbush Frankie's giving you a thrill. Frankie from Flatbush got the city glow, lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. Frankie from Flatbush,